All righty, thanks, Carolyn. Well, coming up on 540 this morning, and we're asking where's the money, this time for student loan forgiveness. So on Friday, the Supreme Court struck down President Biden's plan to forgive and reduce student loans. But that same day, the administration got to work on a new plan. Here's what we know. So the new forgiveness takes a different path to forgiving loans. This time it's under the Higher Education Act. There's a provision there that allows the Education Secretary to, quote, compromise, waive, or even release student loans. But there is a hang-up. There's no guarantee this new approach will survive a legal challenge. While the Higher Education Act has been used to cancel student debt before, it's not been used to forgive as much debt as the Biden administration is trying to use it for. And looking back to Donald Trump's presidency, lawyers for his administration actually concluded years ago that the Education Secretary cannot use this act to provide mass cancellation. Now, as for where that leaves borrowers right now, well, you can expect to start paying loans back this October, and they also start garnering interest again in September. So make sure you watch out for that. Ben, Sarah?
20 people are celebrating Independence Day as new Americans. This happened at a special citizenship ceremony today at the Charlotte Museum of History. These new citizens waited a long time to become Americans, and WCNC Charlotte's Kaylin Hagwood shares their stories of determination and hope.
Families from around the world waited years for this day, and now they can finally say they're American citizens. At the Charlotte Museum of History Tuesday, the American dream took shape. After years of effort, 20 people from all over the world came together here, surrounded by family and friends, to officially become U.S. citizens.
It's a dream. I think when you come to America, everything is different. The education, the health, that's most important we care about.
Zainab Saleh and her husband Mustafa are originally from Sudan in Africa. Right now, that country is in conflict with millions displaced and more than 3,000 killed amid fierce fighting.
The people are suffering, people died in the streets. I want to pray for them to be safe. I don't want to be salvaged because I'm safe, I get out of the country, but I feel bad for my families.
The process to become an American, they say, took about 5 years, with the pair learning how to read and write in English, understand U.S. civics,
that I will support and defend,
and take the oath of allegiance. Steps taken for a better life for themselves and their 2 little girls.
I see a good future for them.
The process in Charlotte is a special yearly celebration for Independence Day.
Some people just have where they go into the office and they sit across from someone in a suit, and all of the official acts they do and take their oaths, which is a room full of witnesses. But we really try to make it a celebration and to make it a party, if you will, to really make people feel special.
From Argentina to India, people came all over the world, now united as one. And after a long journey, they say they're just excited for their future as Americans. Kaylin Hagwood, WCNC Charlotte.
With your help, WCNC Charlotte is making a difference in our community.
Beautiful day, so many people helping. This is incredible.
Let's spread that love tonight.
Here is a $5,000 check that you guys can use to further the mission.
There is nothing on earth like the feeling of giving back with your hands.
$5,000 to you and Block Love Charlotte for what you guys do.
If you'd like to make a difference, go to WCNC.com/make a difference now.
Time now to connect the dots when we make the news make sense. Well, if you're lucky, you have some leftovers from your 4th of July cookout. But of course, it's important to pay attention to some details to make sure you don't get sick.
If you don't want to waste your extra food, you're not alone. But experts say it's important to know the life of your leftovers. Let's connect the dots. According to experts from Better Homes and Gardens, here's how long some of the popular cookout items can be safely stored in the fridge or freezer. Hot dogs, 1 week in the fridge and up to 1 month in the freezer. Other cooked meats, just 3 to 4 days in the fridge and up to 6 months in the freezer. And an important note, the USDA says these items should be refrigerated within 2 hours of cooking them. After that, bacteria starts to grow quickly. What about fruit? Experts say it's good for 3 to 4 days in the fridge and then 3 months in the freezer. And that cake? A week in the fridge or 6 months in the freezer. Experts also say it's important to properly wrap or seal your leftovers to keep out bacteria. And that is connecting the dots.
Back to this, though. 2 Charlotte women are trying to change the way other women shop after spotting what they say is a gaping hole in the fashion industry.
Yeah, the couple who got married last year say they noticed that men can get tailored suits, but women really can't. And they say this is a growing problem as more women do want those power suits for the office or for a wedding day.
Yeah, that's right. WCNC Charlotte's Michelle Bowden explains in tonight's Where's the Money?
This story really is the perfect example of necessity is the mother of invention. These 2 women saw a problem, so they built a brand new business trying to fix it. Margaret Hodge couldn't wait to get to the altar to marry Morgan, but she faced one major hurdle.
I ended up wanting to wear a white wedding suit. I was never really the dress person and could not find a white women's wedding suit to save my life.
Instead, she wore a men's suit that had to be altered 10 times.
And so I did have to go to a men's big box store, and get a men's suit that was tailored to a women's body, which, as it sounds, kind of doesn't work.
It truly broke my heart. I talked to her and was like, we can do better than this. Like, this is ridiculous.
So the couple created M&M Suit Shop.
And some of our pants.
They create custom designed suits for women, everything from the fabric to the lining to the length of the sleeve.
It kind of depends on where you like it.
The kind of thing they say men's tailors have been doing for decades.
And then as we talked to more of our female friends, we realized this was a problem that was across all business wear, formal wear, and everyone was like, oh, I just don't have the right body shape. And I thought, that's ridiculous and unfortunate, and your body is not the problem, it's the clothes that you're trying to find.
The wedding may have sparked the idea, but the women say they've realized women executives need custom power suits.
As more and more women are getting into positions of power and really confident with their own bodies and, that energy, that yes, I think it's absolutely a giant market that needs filling.
The couple say watching customers find just the right fit is the best part of their latest joint venture. The women say they are the only business in Charlotte designing suits exclusively for women. Reporting in Charlotte, Michelle Bowden, WCNC Charlotte.
Verify, WCNC Charlotte.
Verify is all about trying to make a difference in the community by making sure that the community has the correct information. This is what we know, and hey, this is what we don't know. Sometimes you're actually surprised by the answer.
Verify the difference.
Verify is a great way to combat that misinformation, making sure that people know the process of the reporting.
As soon as we get it.
Let's go back with this, the story on the student debt forgiveness efforts, a big one here today. Within the last hour, President Biden addressing the nation, saying the Secretary of Education is efforting an alternative path to debt relief for working and middle class borrowers, and that the Department of Education has finalized a more affordable repayment plan that will go into effect this summer.
The president also announced there would be an on-ramp repayment program through 2024. This could prevent borrowers who miss payments from going into default. Meantime, those borrowers, some across the country, are reacting to the Supreme Court decision, expressing disappointment. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest from Washington.
In another day of major shakeups, the Supreme Court's conservative majority blocking President Biden's student loans forgiveness plan, ruling 6-3 that the president had gone too far without congressional approval in moving to cancel more than $400 billion in student loan debt.
We were looking forward to the student loan forgiveness. We were actually expecting it. That's going to crush us financially.
You borrow some money to go to college, and there should be responsibility to pay that back.
President Biden already working on alternatives to deliver on a campaign promise. The administration had argued it was legal to let some 43 million eligible borrowers cancel up to $20,000 in debt under a statute regarding national emergencies like the COVID pandemic. But the court decided the plan overstepped the president's authority. In a separate significant case today, the high court ruled in favor of a Colorado web designer who wanted to be able to reject same-sex wedding clients.
And I'm grateful for the court for affirming that the government can't force anyone
anyone to say something they don't believe.
The court's majority decided that as a creative professional, Lori Smith's First Amendment rights shielded her from punishment under Colorado's anti-discrimination law because, quote, Colorado seeks to force an individual to speak in ways that align with its views but defy her conscience about a matter of major significance. The dissenting liberal justices argued the First Amendment does not protect the act of discrimination, noting this is the first time the High Court has granted a business open to the public a constitutional right to refuse to serve members of a protected class, and saying that will, quote, mark gays and lesbians for second-class status. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
You've probably heard of the idea that you can calculate just how far away lightning is by counting the seconds between the lightning strike and when you hear the thunder. Well, one viewer sent us an email wanting to know if this method is actually true. Does it actually work? Wake Up Charlotte's Megan Bragg verifies.
Summertime means more storms for the Carolinas. We've certainly seen our share this week. Viewer Chris M. asked us, with all the storms lately, how accurate is the method of counting seconds between lightning and thunder to calculate miles for every second counted for how far away the lightning is?
Our sources, WCNC meteorologist Brittany Van Voorhees and the National Centers for Environmental Information. As little kids, you probably were told to count the seconds between lightning and thunder, and that's how many miles away lightning would be.
Honestly, I'm really glad you guys are doing this because it is something people get wrong all the time.
Brittany says lightning is actually closer than you think.
So it's whatever that second is, but those seconds are between the lightning and thunder. You have to do the division by 5 because that's factoring in the speed of sound.
So if you count 5 seconds between a lightning strike and thunder, that means lightning is just 1 mile away, not 5.
When you're outside, anytime, if there's thunder and lightning around, you could get struck because lightning can strike about 30 miles out of the center of the storm.
Data from the National Centers for Environmental Information show over the past 5 years, 4 deaths and 12 injuries have been reported in North Carolina from lightning strikes.
Basically, if you hear thunder or see lightning, go inside, wait 30 minutes till after the last time you saw it, and you're good to go.
So we can verify that no, counting seconds between lightning and thunder to calculate the miles for every second is not accurate. Instead, you have to divide by 5 to really know how close it is. With your Verify, I'm Megan Bragg.
Well, I just learned something. How about that? If you have something you'd like us to verify, email us at verify@wcnc.com.
All right, we're keeping track of time. Right now it is 5:16, almost 5:17. It's a Wednesday morning, and we did make it to 93 degrees yesterday. It was hot. It was humid. It was in the mid-90s at Charlotte, South Carolina. Rockingham hit 94. Even up in the Jefferson area, the mountains, Ashe County, 80 up there. It was 89 at Hickory, 91 at Rock Hill in South Carolina. More of the same again today, all the way as we head into the upcoming weekend. Heat index temperatures out, feels outside. Upper 90s to near 100 degrees with that combination of the temperature and the dew point. Dew point right now is 68, 75 degrees. So we're not looking at heat index this time of the day. Winds are calm. It's just a very muggy, almost clear sky morning out there. 73 in Chesterfield County at Charlotte, South Carolina. Over in Shelby, they're in 69, 60 at Boone, 72 at Hickory, and right now in Concord at the Speedway, they're checking in at 72, mid-70s here in the Queen City. As far as our dew point temperatures, upper 60s and low 70s, so pretty uncomfortable out there at the moment, and it's going to stay that way throughout the day. In fact, pretty muggy all the way right into the middle of the afternoon, even early evening. Here's our UV index forecast for today. A little more cloudiness out there for the afternoon, so we're right there at very high burn time, about 15 to 25 minutes. It's an 8 today. Now, more sunshine tomorrow puts us up there in the extreme category. Limit your time outside, and more of the same on Fridays way into the upcoming weekend. Futurecast, take you to the afternoon. Better coverage, much better coverage of the storms this afternoon. Banner Elk all the way to Morganton, the upstate, around 2 o'clock. Scattered showers south of here. We get to about 4 on the way home today. Notice from Wadesboro to Lancaster, all the way over towards Rockingham, down into the Midlands of South Carolina, some storms. As far as late on the commute, anytime between 6 and 7. Look at that shower activity from Rock Hill to Charlotte to Salisbury. Along Interstate 85, you'll find some heavy pockets of rain, more of the same around 9 this evening, upstate all the way across the Charlotte metro area. Then things do clear out as we get to early tomorrow morning. At the moment, things are pretty calm out there. Do have some showers and storms off the Carolina coastline. They're all moving way out there. Big storm system in the midsection of the country. That's where the violent weather is today. A lot of severe weather warnings going on from, say, Iowa all the way across Missouri into Kansas and those areas. That's where the big storms are. For us, as we head towards the afternoon into the evening, that's when we see that chance of rain up about 30, maybe up to 40%. Check it out, hour by hour. We're going to hit about 85 degrees for lunchtime, mid-80s then, upper 80s to near 90 for high temperatures today. Notice as we head towards the afternoon through the evening, there's that chance of rain and storms out there. Futurecast Thursday, we'll see a few spotty showers and storms, more the same on Friday, and as we head into the weekend, about the same on Saturday as well. Here we go, highs today, close to 90 degrees over most of the area. The cool spots, mid to upper 70s in the North Carolina mountains. Here's your Guy Roofing 7-day forecast. Clouds, a few storms today. Tomorrow we're in the low 90s, more of the same on Friday. For the weekend, we see a break in the temperature on Sunday. We're in the upper 80s, and the coolest day, relatively speaking, next Monday. High of 86, we're back to the upper 80s by next Tuesday. That's the weather. Let's get a check on the commute this morning. Here's Chris.
It was just about 3 weeks.
WCNC Charlotte.
Weather is a kind of science that you get to see and experience every day. And I think some people don't even realize how much it affects them. That weather has a huge impact on how it threatens your family, your livelihood, or your home. So I think it really is one of those defining things we do that really affects everybody in our community.
See the difference.
That process of giving you a warning ahead of time and keeping you and your family safe is really important to me because I live here too. It's my family, it's my friends, it's my neighbors.
Well, while money might be tight in your household due to inflation, there's evidence of improving spending conditions. After record high increases in gas and food costs, a Commerce Department report released Friday shows inflation at its lowest level in 2 years. So why are some prices still higher than usual? WCNC Charlotte's Kaylin Hagwood breaking it down for us, so we're not left asking, where's the money?
Last summer, inflation hit a 40-year high, contributing to soaring prices and leaving consumers feeling sticker shock for months.
Definitely meat, definitely bread.
Now, for 2 people, it's like you're feeding 4 or 5.
Now those pressures are somewhat easing, according to new data by the Department of Commerce. A key inflation index monitored closely by the Federal Reserve shows inflation dropped last month to its lowest level since April of 2021, with lower gas prices and slower rising food costs driving the change. But Joseph Von Nessen, a research economist at the University of South Carolina, says don't expect the cost of some items to come down with it.
Gas prices are lower today than they were 1 year ago, which is good news. But in general, if you look at the grocery store, if you look at items on Amazon, if you're going to a department store, most of the time when prices go up, they tend not to go back to previous levels.
According to finance company NerdWallet, food prices rose 6.7% between May of this year and last. The Federal Reserve has been taking steps to slow the rate of increases by raising interest rates to slow spending. Now that inflation is cooling, Von Nessen says the rate hikes will likely cool too, but not immediately.
We're getting close to the inflation target of 2%. We're not there yet, but the Fed doesn't want to overshoot, which is why it's slowing the pace of rate increases. Because remember, the negative consequence, if it overreaches, is that we go into a recession. And so that's what the Fed is clearly trying to avoid.
Despite many prices still higher than pre-pandemic levels, Von Nessen says it's important to remember some inflation can be good for the economy by helping drive economic growth.
So the key is for prices to slowly rise over time, but not at an excessive rate the way they have been over the last several years. So that's why getting this rate of inflation down is important.
Kaylin Hagwood, WCNC.
5:16 right now on the clock. It is time to connect the dots when we make the news make sense. Today, you're probably stocking up on your July 4th grilling essentials, and here's hoping you budgeted for it.
From the burgers to the buns to the booze, your summer cookout will cost you. Let's connect the dots. According to new data from Wells Fargo, you'll pay more for just about everything. Steak is up nearly 3% from last year. Ground beef costs about $5.36 per pound. That's up 1% from last year. Chicken might help you pinch some pennies. Data shows it's costing about 2% less than 2022. That bun for your burger, though, will cost you about 22% more. Experts say flour is still expensive because of the supply chain issues caused by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. A sad reality for those desserts, ice cream prices are up 9%, and chocolate chip cookies cost 14% more than last year. There is good news about your booze. Wine prices are about the same. So cheers to your summer cookouts. And that's Connecting the Dots.
We're one of the fastest growing cities in the country, and we've got the construction work to prove it. There's just one big holdup.
We have a major deficit in our workforce right now, especially in the Charlotte community.
Not enough workers mean the work isn't getting done as fast as it could be.
Projects are taking longer than they historically do. I think that the overwhelming number of projects in the Charlotte area are really putting pressure on the trade community.
That's where this construction project comes in. It's the soon-to-be Aspire Trade High School.
This is going to provide us an opportunity to reach out to young adults early, get them interested in construction, get them skilled up so that whenever they come out, they can go into the workforce.
Every student who comes here will go into a CTE career, a career in technical education. So whether it's in construction, whether it's in medical, whether it's in data, whether it's in culinary, that's what this school is. It's a trade high school.
Students will start in the 9th grade with an equal split, learning the standard high school curriculum and learning a trade as they earn their diploma.
Not everyone should go to a college, that not everyone has to, and that these students are hands-on kids.
The idea came from Huntersville's late mayor, Jill Swain, who saw the need.
They have all these corporations, all these industries that can't find skilled labor. They just can't. And they're crying for skilled labor in an area that there's so much going on in construction and other areas that even the ones that are coming out are just getting snatched up. There's just not enough skilled labor for everyone.
Seniors will actually have on-site apprenticeships and a chance at a job as soon as they graduate.
We want to partner with Aspire not only to build this project, but also in the long term to help to facilitate the growth of our upcoming generations of construction trade workers.
The school is set to open in August, and they're still taking applications to fill the 500 spots they'll have here. Reporting in Huntersville, Michelle Bowden, WCNC Charlotte.
Did you know the dog days of summer have an actual start and end date? It's getting hot, hot, hot in this week's Weather IQ. From July 3rd to August 11th, you can officially call it the dog days of summer. This time of year does get its name from a dog, but not the one you may be thinking about. Its name comes from the dog star Sirius, which is the brightest star in our sky. During the dog days of summer, this star rises and sets around the same time as the sun. The ancient Greeks and the Romans thought the power of these two stars is why this time of the year was the hottest in the northern hemisphere. On July 23rd, Sirius rises exactly in sync with the sun. So that means that the dog days happen 20 days before and 20 days after this date. Even though Sirius had nothing to do with the intense heat for this time of year, it actually does closely align with the hottest days. Charlotte, for instance, averages 90+ degrees from June 28th until August 8th, with the 11 days from July 11th to the 21st being the hottest days, averaging 91 degrees. The dog days in summer are hot and humid, so make sure to always stay hydrated, protect your skin, and be mindful how the heat affects your body. For most of the Charlotte area, when heat indices reach 105 degrees, the National Weather Service will issue a heat advisory. And a heat index of 110 degrees or greater will prompt an excessive heat warning. So stay cool, everybody. I'm meteorologist Chris Mulcahy with WCNC Charlotte.
Wake up to the news that matters most with meteorologist and traffic reporter Chris Mulcahy.
And we're all clear. We're keeping you smarter, safer, and on time.
Start your day the Mulcahy way. See the difference. 4:30 to 7 on WCNC Charlotte.
A trip to the nail salon is a must for a lot of folks. Well, this morning we verify if UV nail dryers can actually increase your risk for cancer. Wake Up Charlotte's Megan Bragg verifies.
How often often do you go to the nail salon and pop your hands underneath a UV nail polish dryer? A question many people are asking on the internet is, can those UV nail dryers actually increase your cancer risk? Let's verify. Our sources are the Cleveland Clinic and an article published earlier this year by the Skin Cancer Foundation. UV nail polish dryers are pretty standard in most nail salons. They're used to speed dry regular manicures and are required to set gel manicures. The Cleveland Clinic says the ultraviolet rays from these machines causes DNA damage in the cells, just like UV light from the sun.
What we don't yet know is how that translates into individual people and how much of an increased risk of skin cancer you get from using those ultraviolet light boxes.
According to the Skin Cancer Foundation, some nail salons use UV nail lamps and some use LED lamps. Both, they say, emit UV radiation, which have been linked to both premature skin aging and skin cancer. But that doesn't mean you have to give your manicures up altogether. The Cleveland Clinic says you can still get them, just in moderation.
If you're somebody who goes to get a gel manicure, for a special occasion, before your wedding, before a formal event, you're probably okay. But if you're somebody who goes every 2 weeks religiously to get these gel manicures, you're probably increasing your risk of skin cancer on your hands.
So we can verify that, yes, UV nail dryers can increase your skin cancer risk, but you should only really worry if you use them regularly. With your Verify, I'm Megan Brown.
Well, tonight, a North Carolina homeowner won't lose her home after WCNC Charlotte asked, where's the money? Over the last year, we've reported extensively on the plight of people who've applied for pandemic mortgage help as through the often slow to deliver North Carolina Homeowner Assistance Fund.
So as we continue to advocate for those waiting for urgent help with their monthly payments, WCNC Charlotte's Nate Morabito discovered the same company North Carolina hired to run the program here could very well lose its contract in Pennsylvania after similar problems.
This has been the most stressful thing I've ever been through.
A frazzled Kay Blinson has sent us more than 3 dozen emails since September.
You've just been a lifesaver.
Asking for help, securing her first mortgage relief payment.
I probably would be out of my home by now.
And more recently, collecting her last through the North Carolina Homeowner Assistance Fund.
It took, 5 months to get January?
The state's housing finance agency signed a $23 million contract with IEM, a North Carolina-based disaster recovery company, to run the pandemic program. More than a year and a half later,
we feel like we've turned the corner on the process.
Executive Director Scott Farmer says the process has become fairly seamless, thanks to IEM dedicating more resources to be more responsive.
I really don't want to lose it.
They just told me to be patient with the process.
Just concerned. But that came only after homeowners reached out to us and complained about waiting at length for their assistance. Some even started receiving foreclosure notices.
We do appreciate the fact that you have continued to follow up and trying to help folks that are facing challenges.
While Pennsylvania is reviewing its relationship with IEM before making a final decision about terminating the company,
I think that we've seen a lot of improvement.
North Carolina hasn't felt the need to go so far as even penalizing the company.
We had a different project management team than Pennsylvania did.
Beyond that, IEM reports receiving 3 times fewer complaints in North Carolina compared to Pennsylvania, and calls North Carolina's program efficient, thanks to continued collaboration designed to speed up payment processing.
We just want to help as many folks as we can, as quickly as we